This is Joey Ryan, and you're watching Think Wrestling.
I saw Hannah Taylor for the first time late last year. Can't remember exactly what month it was, but it was late. It was at Wrestle Island in one of their last shows I think of the year, and instantly I was blown away by just how good she is. And I know that obviously that itself doesn't mean a whole lot because there were a lot of really good wrestlers in the country and just in the business full stop. But when you consider the fact that at that point, I don't even think that was one of the first matches, basically, what I'm trying to say. She'd not even been wrestling for that, like, at this point now, she's not even been wrestling for over a year, which is insane to think in itself. But when I first saw her back at Wrestle Island last year, that was still one of her first matches. And what really, and I didn't know that at first, so I just thought, okay, she's really good. And then I found out that was one of her first matches, and that instantly that boosted her up 10 times as far as I was concerned about how good she was, because of how short a time she's been doing it. Now, before we go any further, I just want you to let me know what you think of this new format I'm trying out. Just not any intro, just going straight into it. I don't know, thought I'd try it out. Might not last, but we'll see. Anyway, back onto the video. In particular, what really pleasantly surprised me about how good she is, again, what I said about her not been doing it for very long, and that stands up to me because it takes a lot of time and experience to really get into the mix and into the groove of what works for you. And some people can find that it takes them months or even years to really work out. Not necessarily they'll be a really bad wrestler within those years, just they'll be still finding what works for them. And I've not found, well, okay, like that might be the case, but if it is, she hides it very well. Because in the matches that I've seen her in, she never looks unsure of herself. She always knows what she's doing. She knows what her opponent's doing, and it works really well. There's never a time where she looks unsure or that she's going to do something and then she'll sort of drop back, second guess herself, and then go in to do the move, which I do see, not often, but I still do see. So for her to not even be a year into her career yet and still be doing, well, not still be, but being able to adapt to what her opponent's doing, put it into herself, that's something that only experience can teach so. And then, as I said, when I tell you that she's not got that experience or as much of it as the people have yet, it honestly is amazing just how good she is. And give it a few, well, for when wrestling starts again, give it a few months from that, and again, the progress you'll see will just be, it'll honestly be amazing to see how far she will get, because believe me, she will get very far. Now, she gets trained by James Drake and Zach Gibson of Fighting Spirit, which in itself should tell you a lot, because they are two of the best in the world. They're former NXT UK Tag Team Champions, you know, the grizzled young veterans. So that in itself should tell you just how good of a training school she's going to, and it should give you a bit of an idea as to why she has become so good so quickly. But teachers can only do so much. Most of it has to come from you, and she's adapted to what she's been taught so well, and she never looked out of her depth in the ring. Whether it's like, obviously I don't know what her preferences are, or even if she's actually got any preferences, but I've seen people in the ring who aren't bad at all. That would be massively unfair for me to say, because they're not, but who are maybe slower to adapt into certain matches. So it might be that you're a really smooth tag team wrestler, but you're not really sure, or you're inexperienced, I should say, when it comes to Fatal 4-Ways or Royal Rumbles, that sort of thing. So matches that I've seen her in, she never looks out of her depth. She never looks like she doesn't know what she's doing. She's able to adapt, which, when you realise how little she's been doing it for, is amazing. She can remember not only her moves, but her opponent as well, which, again, that's something that only comes down to experience. And I talk a lot about, oh, she's not been doing it for that long, and yeah, because that amazes me. it's not often that you come across someone still so new to the business, so new to the whole show side of things and being on shows, but still so comfortable in what they're doing and still so able to adapt to what their opponents are doing. And it comes across in routines as well. Like when I say routines, I mean like you know how you've got the classic Will Ospreay and Ricochet quite flippy shits, which I love, by the way. That's what I mean by routine. So something that gets planned out beforehand, so you know what you're doing. And I've seen it a few times where you'll get into a routine and then one of the wrestlers will sort of second guess themselves a bit. And I'm not saying that it's bad, because I couldn't do that at all. I'm not judging you at all. I could not in a million years do that. But for Hannah to well, from what I've seen, for her side to get into a routine, carry on with the flow of it as well as she has done and does do, is incredible to me. And again, she's got room to grow. No wrestler ever stops learning. You can ask anyone this, they'll tell you the same thing. When you're a wrestler, you never ever stop learning. So when you consider how young she is, like in her early 20s I think, and the time that she's got to grow and develop as a wrestler, it blows my mind. It should blow yours. And believe me, give it a little bit and she will be regular on the likes of Progress and Fight Club Pro. And I know she's also had a NXT UK trial or a WWE trial, that sort of thing. And again, someone that young to be like, we talked about this in the interview. When you get that sort of thing, it can be just this massive, great big thing that's going on in the back of your mind, because oh my god, you've been offered a chance with these giants of wrestling, and that can mess with your head a bit. I would think, I don't know, I would think it would. And I spoke to Hannah during the interview, which you can watch it in the there basically. I'm trying to coordinate my hand with the screen that I'm seeing my face on here. So down there, she said that we talked a bit about that, and she said that she wasn't expecting it, and she just went into it and did it, and that amazes me. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on for too much longer because I don't like making these videos too long. If you want to check her out, see why I rate her so highly and why she'll be so big in a very short amount of time, go to her social medias. I'll link them all in the description down below as usual, in the description, sorry. Check out her Insta, Facebook, Twitter, they'll all be there, and you'll see her why I rate her so highly. Until then, peace.